I'm a WWE fan, and I found something that was very frustrating. Right, the real authority's here to review the map that leads to you. Alright, after I talk about the review, I want to just go on a rant about something unrelated. But then again, it's going to be an easy review to at least talk about the movie. Simple premise is Madeline Klein plays Heather, who is on vacation with two of her best friends. Then she meets a guy and decides to go on a bit of a detour, which sees the two going to numerous different places and different sites, all based on the book of the boy's grandfather, for which he wants to experience the places his grandfather was. I'm a sucker for romantic comedies and romance films, so of course I was going to watch this, and I was not expecting how good it was. Guess starting off the bat, Madeline Klein absolutely carries this film as Heather. You may remember her from the new I Know What You Did Last Summer, plus I also remember her being in Outer Banks. I remember a TikTok trend relating to one of the scenes. Is it the one where I don't remember and I don't care. I don't use TikTok anymore. But Klein pretty much proves herself to be a pretty talented actress and a rising star here. I was absolutely endeared by her character. She comes across as always wanting to be on time, always wanting to have a plan, but then KJ Aba comes along as Jack, who also gives a pretty good performance in order to show her that not everything has to be planned in order for you to have a good time. I really did appreciate that. Plus, they have really good chemistry. I also thought the screenplay from Leslie Boehm and Vera Hebert was very charming. I guess that's the word I can describe the whole movie, but I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. Their screenplay is very earnest and honest, almost a little bit too honest, but in terms of the way it's executed, it's absolutely appreciable. I was absolutely invested in this story to see how it would go, even if it doesn't start off on the best foot. As the movie goes along, you definitely see it getting better and better, and you finding yourself looped into this story. Solid directing from Lasse Hallström, too. And the screenplay directing absolutely keep it in the pocket, because it's a 98-minute film. Maybe a bit less, but in terms of that runtime, it's perfect for this film. Eliza Felix does a great job cinematography-wise as well. Romance is definitely believable for the most part, and I gotta emphasize the charm. The movie's so damn sweet that honestly the flaws aren't that big of a deal. With that said, there are like two issues that keep it from being perfect. Some decisions, especially with the relationship, come across as cliched at best, momentum breaking at worst. I'm not going to get into too much detail because spoilers, I usually like avoiding spoilers. Also, the two friends that Heather has, I feel like the movie knows that they are not the most central to the story, because I felt that a lot. They really added nothing outside of maybe a few plot points, because they're like in the same situation that Heather is in, but less interesting. I feel like the movie knows that, but I feel like it might have been a lot more focused if they had a much smaller role or were out entirely, I guess. I don't know, I guess that's all the complaints. I guess I'm really surprised, and I shouldn't be, that this movie turned out to be better than I was ever expecting. I was expecting a pretty charming film, but I wasn't expecting anything great. And while it's no masterpiece, I really dug the map that leads to you, and it really justifies its own existence. So if you're a fan of romance films, definitely give this one a watch. If you're not in that ballpark, I don't know if you'll have as great of a time as I did, but you know what? The real authority regardless approves. What the hell is going on with WWE, though? Seriously, like, I know that money is money, but they have so many licensing deals that you basically have to go to a different streaming service every time you want to watch a specific WWE content. So now that this ESPN deal comes to my attention, it basically removes all the PPVs off Peacock, which Peacock didn't really have that much anyway, at least initially. But they had the pay-per-views. That justifies the streaming subscription outside of the movies you didn't go to the movie theaters for. I don't get it. That's like your big money draws, and it makes it a lot harder, especially given that ESPN is going to start off at $29.99 a month, this new streaming service, and it's coming out tomorrow, which I don't get. Granted, the rest of the year's pay-per-views are still going to be on Peacock, aside from one that they announced, which is how I found out about this deal, which is so ridiculous. Because Netflix is right there. You literally signed a deal with them to broadcast Raw, and yet SmackDown is still only accessible through cable unless you wait a month. I have become a big fan of WWE, especially in the past year, and I think WWE should go for a more simplistic approach, like possibly put all the shows and PPVs in one streaming service, which they initially did with like the WWE network from what I hear. And with the Peacock deal a few years ago, you have all the pay-per-views except Greatest Royal Rumble. I don't know where that went. And most of the shows, and Netflix is pretty easily accessible. Like, we all have Netflix, don't we? And for those who don't know, judging, but I feel like a lot of people have Netflix, so why not expand that deal and give them the pay-per-views since you have the pay-per-views broadcast on Netflix internationally? I just don't get it. I thought I might as well get that off my chest because I feel like a lot of people may not have cable anymore. Is that a true statement? Because a lot of the movies and TV shows that we usually rely on cable for have migrated to streaming. So it's weird that WWE would and would not do the same effect because SmackDown's still exclusive to cable, but then again, the pay-per-views were pay-per-views. Like at one time, you basically had to pay for each live event. And the fact that it migrated to streaming services, like you can basically watch them on a streaming service, that made it convenient. But $29.99 a month, come on. That's super expensive. I don't think this is a good business decision at all, but then again, I'm not really a sports person, only WWE. That's probably going to be a minute extra on the video. Again, very simple review. Map That Leads to You was good. Then I found out this news and I was just in a bad mood. Doesn't take away the fact that this movie was really charming and really enjoyable. Alright, so make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications, and comment your thoughts on the movie or the WWE deal. Let me see if you agree with it, possibly. I don't know. Peace.